with the Mucusless Diet Healing System, is an opportunity to master time. And master patience. Patience is one of the great virtues of this path that I had to learn, because was at my core was a fairly impatient person. But through practicing the Mucusless Diet Healing System, and also through my educational pursuits, the path that I was led on to be an educator, I had to learn how to be pretty patient. So with that said, let's go on ahead and get into the actual what I eat in a day, and we'll go over kind of the different years, and we'll see how this rolls. So for from year 1 through 3, about 30% of the time, I would be mucus-free, or I would have mucus-free days. And a mucus-free day, years 1 through 3 for me, would usually consist of no breakfast. Sometimes I would either have no breakfast. If I did eat something, I would eat fruit in the morning, or I would make some juice. That would be the morning. The lunchtime, I would have fruit in the afternoon, or Eric's 2-course meal. So where I'd eat some kind, and I got into the mono fruit theory pretty early on. And so at this time, I was a lot of what I had access to was like apples, pears, oranges. It was in college, and so I would go down to the cafeteria with a duffel bag, and I would throw tons of fruit in there, and I would go and get vegetables, whole vegetables off of the that were supposed to be for show on the buffet. I'd go and grab these, heads of broccoli, heads of lettuce, heads of cauliflower, that kind of thing, heads of romaine lettuce that they had on there. And so that was kind of the vibe. Supper time, which means dinner. I don't know if that's a weird word for people. That's old school, supper. But combination salad and steamed vegetable or baked banana surprise. Now, I have the recipe for baked banana surprise, I believe, is one of the 5 free recipes that you get when you download the gifts when you sign up for the Insiders Club. So you might want to check that out. But so this was at my best. This is at my best. Now, see, most people would only share this with you. They'd be like, I practice the Mucusless Diet Healing System, and they would share this as if this was all they did, as if this was all they ate. This was just me at my best when I was eating. Maybe you could argue my fasting was the best, but no, in terms of the eating part, this was me at my best, where mostly mucus-free. Maybe I'm giving a little leeway if I had a little oil or something. I'm not really counting that here. Maybe I had a little oil on a combination salad or something like that. Boo-hoo. I'm not incorporating that here, in especially years 1 through 3. But this just means I didn't have any corn chips. I didn't have the bread, the toast. I didn't have any kind of vegan processed foods. That's the mucusless day. Then we moved to the mucus-lean day, and I was mucus-lean about 60% of the time. So most of the time in these first 1 to 3 years of practicing the Mucusless Diet Healing System, I was what you would call mucus-lean, where I incorporated mucus-free along with mucus-forming foods systematically. So morning, fruit or juice. Lunchtime, Eric's 2-course meal with toasted wheat bread. And I might not just have one piece. I'd have 2 or 3 pieces, well toasted. Why do we toast it? Eric lays this out in the Mucusless Diet book. When you toast wheat bread or 100% kind of grain bread, and there's a whole kind of the anti-wheat thing that's sort of new, that wasn't happening back then. There wasn't as many people with gluten sensitivity yet. That was like a new thing. That shows you the weakening of humans to the point where, more and more people can't tolerate what you're not supposed to eat anyway. You're not supposed to eat dairy anyway. So it's perfect that people can't eat it, that they get sick when they eat it. You're not supposed to eat it. And wheat, you're not supposed to eat processed wheat. So more people can't handle that. But from transitional purposes, it's a great tool if you can handle it. You toast out the gluey properties. When you toast 100% grain bread, and I would use that Ezekiel bread. You get it in the frozen section. Used to be organic sections. Now most places are combining everything together, which is annoying, these supermarkets. But so I got that, and that was like I mean, that saved the day. So I would have this very toasted, well toasted wheat bread that I put all kinds of soy butter on top of that. You know, in the years 1 through 3, I was a soy butter head. I ate soy butter. You know, like I said, today there's other options. They didn't have like alternatives to soy back then because nobody thought soy was that bad. Like, not like that. We knew it was mucus forming, but we did the stigma against soy hadn't hit yet. They hadn't created other products. These days, you can get stuff made from avocado oil, from just different things besides soy. And so, but I'm just saying, and I'm not saying it, and like I said, don't use this as a model. You might be way further advanced, and by the time you get this information, you're way beyond some of these things, but know that this is there. If you ever have a bad year, you have a bad, not just a day, but if you're having a bad year, or maybe you have a bad decade, this is here. And I say that because too many people go back to eating McDonald's. They go back to eating Burger King. They go back to eating Pizza Hut. They'll be raw for 2 years or 3 years or a year, feel good for a period of time, go through a period where they don't feel good. They didn't learn this. They didn't learn and understand the transition methodology. They go all the way back to Pizza Hut. Or now, what's in fashion now for the more extremist people is to go from 100% raw vegan to 100% raw carnivore. It's one of the craziest things you ever want to do. Like I said, if you want to be a carnivore, you better be eating that diarrhea sauce. If you want to be a real carnivore, don't be going into the store getting your raw meat thinking that you're some carnivore. Go out in the woods, kill that animal with your canine teeth, go for the gut, get up, get into them intestines, put it all, wipe it all over your face. You get all that blood and you get the feces that's in there. And y'all have seen the video that I posted of that tiger getting into that zebra, and it's licking that diarrhea up. I know it's nasty. Y'all are nasty going back to carnivore. That's the point. So this could prevent so much of that. Eat a soy burger. I ate soy burgers. This was like a vegan, processed vegan thing. The difference between me and then the garden variety vegan was I knew I wasn't going to be eating like that forever. And that it was very tempered. It wasn't all the time. It was like, when I would take breaks, I wasn't eating soy burgers every day, but every once in a while. And I also didn't eat it to replace meat. By the time I actually went, for the first year, I actually didn't eat too much of that. By the time I went back and started eating some of the processed vegan stuff, I wasn't craving meat anymore. So this wasn't a replacement for meat. It was just mucus. It was just for my mucus craving. I was craving, I wasn't craving meat. I was craving mucus. And I learned that through the practice. I wanted mucus. It was like meat. I had got that out of my system, but I still wanted mucus. So that's where that. Beans were huge. Beans, huge part of my transition. Ate a lot of beans. But whenever I eat all this stuff, it's always with a big salad, always with the big combination salad if I was to have some of that kind of stuff. Those first couple years, I was still messing with cereal and almond milk and that kind of stuff. That didn't last too long because physiologically it wasn't happening. Then it's supper time, combination salad, steamed baked vegetables, and this is like it's a big meal. This is a big hearty meal. And I had these big things of steamed vegetables made in onion saute, dressing, the store-bought vinegar-free kind of dressing is what I used a lot in those days. I wasn't making my own dressings and stuff. It was just got store-bought stuff. If it wasn't for that, I might not have been successful. Like, it was like that because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to evolve into that next level yet. So another thing I hope this does is for some of you that are more advanced or some of the raw foodists, this can give you a perspective of what somebody can do if they need to do it, and you can be more empathetic to them. You don't have to make them feel bad because they're not 100% raw. That's not helpful. You can know that these options are there when people need it. And believe me, people need it because not everybody has had your background or your experience or your trajectory. And depending on how long you've done what you do, you're still finding your plateau points. So don't put down somebody else just because they're eating a little bit of cooked food. That's, I mean, we have that in our group, cooked food shaming. I'm not into that. Do what you do. But you know, if somebody posts up a picture or something of their transition, they're like, and they got the cooked food, don't tear them down.